Hi, this is Brandon Moon with Moonlit Fly Fishing. Just want to welcome you to Fly Tying Night tonight. Tonight we're going to be tying up a jig Stonefly Nymph, kind of based off of a Kaufman's Nymph, but we're going to be using dirty bug yarn, so we call this the Dirty Stone. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So the hook that we're using is the new Moonlit Tagata Premium ML 511. We're using a size 8. The bead that we're using is the new Metallic Coffee size 4.0. And we're just going to place that down and use some dark mocha brown classic wax thread in the 8/0. And we're going to lay a nice foundation down and then take some lead-free wire in the 0.3 millimeter. And we're going to tie that down underneath, and then I'm going to wrap that backwards about 10 wraps, and you can see that each wrap with the wire pushes the thread rearward, and that just allows it to stay nice and close. We'll helicopter that out. This is going to help hold the bead in and create a little bit extra weight for this stonefly. Now we'll take the thread and we'll wrap it rearward back to the back bend of the hook. We want a nice, even, smooth underbody, and I'm going to go just a little bit further back than the bend of the hook so that I can create a nice little small ball here. And this ball is going to help splay out my tail of goose biots. For the tail, we're going to use Semperfli's brown goose biots, and I'm just going to take 2 of the goose biot fibers, and they're going to have the grooves we'll take and splay opposite sides. We're going to tie this in just about 3/4 of the hook length or shank of the hook. You can see I placed them over together, and then I'll secure them down, maneuver the biots till they sit in place where I want them, and finish securing them up the hook shank where I'll trim them out just behind the lead-free wire, and that's going to help me give a nice smooth underbody to this fly. Now I'm going to take some 0.3 millimeter tying wire for this size of fly in copper, and I'm just going to secure that right behind the lead-free wire and wrap back to the bend of the hook where the tail starts, and I'll place that back in my material clip. Now we'll take some black dirty bug yarn. Again, I'm going to secure this down, and to create a nice good underbody, it's going to go right up to about that point where the lead-free wire is. We'll half hitch that. And this is so I can use my rotary feature as I wrap the dirty bug yarn. We're just going to wrap that forward and create a nice underbody. The dirty bug yarn is just like using dubbing but on a rope, so it's a little bit easier, a little faster. Now I'm going to create a taper by going back 2/3 of the way and then back forward to where my wire was. And that wire is, lead-free wire is where I'm going to use for my thorax on this fly. So it's about 2/3 the length of the hook shank. Now we're going to open spiral wrap that copper wire forward into where that thorax is. I'll secure that down with a couple wraps of thread over the top and in front, where we'll now helicopter that out. Once we've helicoptered this out, we're going to take and we're going to tie in our wing case. I'm going to pull my dirty bug yarn back, holding it in place on the material clip to the Nirvana rotary vise. I'm now going to take a 1/32 copper mirror holographic tinsel from Semperfli, and we'll just secure that down and wrap that back, pulling it back so that it's nice and secured, not poking out. Now I'll take some 1/16 Mirage Iris tinsel from Semperfli, and we'll secure that down as well. And we'll wrap that back to where the dirty bug yarn ends for that thorax. We'll give one good wrap or two to create a little bit of a thorax where we're going to use to flare out our legs of goose biots here. Again, I'm just going to put that dirty bug yarn back in the material clip, and I'm going to do one leg at a time. And we'll secure this. I want the tips of these legs to naturally flare out against the hook shank and about to the back bend of that hook where the tail starts. And I'll do that on both sides. Secure it down. Now I'll do the other side. And I always lock in front of the bead or the legs so that I make sure and lock that in, so if anything happens, I'm still good. The legs are still locked in. Now we'll trim it out, where we'll give another wrap or two of dirty bug yarn before we tie in our second set of legs. Secure that down. Now we're going to tie in our second set of legs here with, again, brown goose biots from Semper Fly. The tips are again going to splay away from the hook and about the same length as the first one, back to about the back end of the hook. We'll secure that down. Again, one wrap in front helps lock it in place. Now we'll do the other side, same thing, just duplicating this process. I always want to secure this down nice and good. Again, you're going to see me go in front of that bead just to lock that in case something were to happen. Trim out the biots again so that we don't have those poking out. Don't worry if there's some poking parts of that left out, because you're going to wrap that up with the dirty bug yarn and cover it up. We'll secure that down in place. Over the top, in front, locks it in place yet once again. Now we'll just trim out the dirty bug yarn. At this point, we're going to now take the Mirage tinsel first. I'm going to do it loosely so that I can straighten this out after I secure it down with the thread. Nice and loose. Now I can straighten it out if I need to. It's good and secure. Now we'll take the copper. This just kind of gives it a cool little split case type effect to this pattern. Over the top 2 times. Now I'm just going to kind of pull those back after I've secured it down. In front, 2 wraps secures it. I'm going to take a razor blade to trim out this tinsel so I get a nice clean cut. A clean, sharp razor blade's always easiest. Instead of whip finishing here, we're just going to take some super glue. I like the Loctite glue on a brush, and I'll just put a little bit of glue on top of my thread here, and this is going to allow me to secure this thread down without needing to use a whip finish. Makes it real durable, not a lot of bulk. There you can see we've locked that in place. I'll cinch that, pulling it up. Now I'll take the razor blade, trim it out nice and clean. Now we're going to take some Semper Fly No Tack UV glue, and I'm going to put it on my bodkin and just place it on top there to create a little bit of a sheen and protective coat on that wing case. And we'll just put that resin over the top of it, creating a nice little sheen and wing case. From there, we'll take our UV pin and just cure that UV resin. Just a couple seconds. Trim out where those fibers were caught in that UV resin. Now we'll take a dubbing brush and just brush out the dirty bug yarn so that it's got that nice buggy look to it. You can do this before you tie in the legs. Sometimes I forget and end up doing it at the end. And there you have the dirty Stonefly Nymph Jig style. Great Euro streamer anchor fly. Thank you for watching.